Good evening, Central Texas, and thank you for staying up late with us. I'm Rissa Shaw. A shooting in Bell County that we first reported last week is now an active murder investigation, and a teenager is in custody. This Halloween is looking extra scary for Central Texas parents. Some are concerned the drug fentanyl, disguised as colorful candy, could be ending up in trick-or-treat bags. There's a great game brewing in the mountains of Provo, Utah right now. The Baylor Bears are taking on the BYU Cougars. News 10's Darby Brown joins us live from outside the stadium. Darby, how's it going so far? Speaking of birthdays, since May, St. Martin's Church in Tours has been collecting historical photos and artifacts. And today, members turned a religious education building into a museum in honor of the church's 150th anniversary. News 10's Alex Fulton takes us there. More than 1,000 people from Oklahoma, Arkansas, and even New Jersey spent time in Waco today, but not to see the silos. They were athletes out on the water. The Waco Rowing Center hosted the inaugural Waco Rowing Regatta. News 10's Alex Fulton explains how the competition is introducing the sport to some new faces. New at 10, when Waco community benefactor Helen Marie Taylor passed away earlier this year, the future of her museum was uncertain, but she left behind a trust for the museum, and it's a new beginning for her collections. News 10's Alex Fulton shows us how the museum is bringing new life to a new audience. Bagpipes, drums, kilts, and Scottish clan tents. The Scottish Gathering and Highland Games was back in Salado this weekend for the 61st year. News 10's Chantel Ropp was there earlier and reports on the significance of this event for the Salado community. Traditional Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos is coming up on Tuesday. Waco celebrated it yesterday with a festival and parade, and the location of that parade holds some historical significance for the Hispanic community. The front porch isn't a place you'd normally see Larry Holder this time of year.
Some days I can do a little bit, some days I can't.
Since he was a young boy, every summer's been spent picking and selling watermelons at the family fruit stand, Holder Produce.
Been a good business for a lot of years.
But this year...
So this was a first try on peppers. We'll see.
The only thing left in the field are peppers, and the only Holder left out of the field is Larry. He can't be out there working because he has cancer.
I was diagnosed in February, and so I'm limited on what I can do.
Is it frustrating?
Very. So frustrating. It's the one thing I've had to learn to do is let go.
Let go of what's out of his control, and it's not just his health. Cancer is not the reason there won't be any watermelons at this Central Texas staple this summer.
You know, it's kind of a throwback. They remember being here as a kid. So they keep coming back and they bring their kids and their grandkids. So it's a little bit of history.
You don't see many fruit stands nowadays, but this one in Golson has been here for 80 years.
The farm started with my dad back in the 1940s.
Thousands of cars pass by it each day on FM 933. During the summer, many of them stopping to buy fresh watermelon varieties. But for the first summer ever, the iconic stand will be empty. Usually there's hundreds of watermelons on these wooden tables. They sell about 10,000 of them a year. But Larry says the heat and wind killed most of the crop, and hungry deer got what was left.
The weather has been just so terrible this year, hard on farmers, and it's reminiscent of 2011. On dry years like this, wildlife is just a #1 problem. They have nothing to eat, and so they feed on melons. It's just been kind of a perfect storm this year between the weather and my health issues. A perfect storm, but not the rainstorms they needed to prevent this. Although it's been a tough row to hoe, the Holder family isn't putting them down or hanging their heads. The hope is we get a little break in the weather and maybe we can throw in a fall crop. Already they're looking to the future, and not just for this year, but for generations to come.
I'm honored to be a part of a family that's grown such a huge business. I'm hoping my mom will run it, and then whenever she's not running it anymore, I'm hoping that I will, and if I ever have children, I'm hoping that they will.
In Golson, Rissa Shaw, News 10.
Anything that's not in a cage or a tank, count me out.
It's not the kind of visitor you want to have.
Animal control told me that they cannot come because it's under the house. There's nothing they can do until she comes out.
Kyra Ali Allen has a 3-foot lizard living under her patio.
When I first saw her, I said, woo, and I think she heard me because I was up against the glass. And she turned around and she had her head stuck up straight and her little tongue came out at me.
These are photos of the encounter. This is Aries. She's a 2.5-year-old Tegu who escaped from a house 2 doors down on Dickens Drive about 3 weeks ago. Ever since then, Ali Allen says her anxiety has been through the roof because of what's under her deck.
Since then, I've been having migraines. I can't sleep. I'm just really on edge. There's maybe a hole underneath the house that they could get into.
The owner set up a trap with a mouse, but no progress.
Just like Steve Irwin.
On Monday, he and a friend came by to try to lure her out. They even tried flushing her out with water.
Flush out, do something, I don't know.
What are you worried might happen?
He might attack me. She may be afraid of me. I'm a stranger. She may think that I'm a threat as much as I think that she's a threat. So we're both in the same boat, except for she didn't call you all.
We set up our cameras to try to see her, but still no luck. What's worse, there's a clock. Lizards like Aries' brewmate, meaning come October, they burrow down in one place for months.
Somebody please just come and help me get this lizard. I don't want it. I don't like it. And it's making my life a nightmare.
In Killeen, Rissa Shaw, News 10.